Tomorrow Knows, stories about creating a better future together. We attended an election street fair in LA recently at which California Assemblymember Laura Friedman, who's running for Congress in District 30, spoke about why a number of local California races are going to be so pivotal to the nation as a whole.
Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Laura Friedman and I'm running for the 30th Congressional District, which is right here. So if last year you voted for Adam Schiff, this year you get to vote for me. So thanks. I have the coolest district ever. I mean, Hodge, you guys are amazing, everything that you do. And this street fair shows the dedication and the enthusiasm of this community. That we understand what is at stake in this election. And all you have to do is look around at some of these booths to know that women's reproductive freedom and abortion rights absolutely threaten, not just in states that have already taken away the right to an abortion, but right here in California. Because we know that Trump's 2025, Project 2025, has a bullseye on fundamental human rights. The rights for women to control when and if they bear children. The rights for people to vote in many states are under threat right now with Congress, the Republican-controlled Congress, introducing legislation tied to the debt limit to take away people's access to the voting blocks in swing states. We know what's at stake, and that's why why Hodge is working so hard to flip these districts. Because the path to a Democratic majority in Congress, believe it or not, runs through California. It runs through California. We may not necessarily be in play in the presidential election, but we are definitely at play when it comes to whether we have a Democratic or a Republican majority in Congress. And I am doing whatever I can to make sure that we have Kamala and Walz in the White House. But listen, that race is gonna be razor thin. And we know that the Republicans are doing everything they can to depress the vote and to throw out people's ballots. So we can't rely on that victory. We have got to make sure that we win back the House of Representatives, because that will be the front lines of defense for everything that we hold dear. Climate change, to make sure our state's not on fire. Consumer protections. We know where the Republicans stand on these issues, which is not with people, not with protecting children, not with protecting seniors. And it's going to be up to us to help win these seats. So everything that you do here, every dollar you spend is going directly to support these candidates in races that are going to be decided by a few hundred votes. So to that end, before I introduce one of the most amazing candidates that I have ever seen, I also want to just mention that I am organizing some buses to these districts. So you don't have to go by yourself. You can get on a bus with a bunch of activists. We will bring you to places where you'll have buddies to canvass with and places where it's going to make the biggest difference. So please, if you have the time, volunteer to come with us. And there's a table where you can sign up. We don't have the dates yet, we're still working on it, but there's going to be hopefully 5 different busing opportunities on different dates. So hopefully you can make one. And then open your wallets and dig deep to all of these candidates. So I think I've said more than enough. I just want to again thank Hodge and everybody that's been involved in postcarding and friendship braceleting and certainly raising money for candidates. And I think that Sarah wants to say something.
Laura was amazing in hosting this with us and supporting her fellow candidates. Please go to her website and support her too, because it's not over till it's over. So thank you so much.
Now, without further ado, seriously, one of the best candidates, the most exciting candidates I've ever seen, who is going to flip the district to the east of us and get rid of a completely do-nothing waste of a House seat, Will Rollins.
Laura Friedman, everybody, your future Congresswoman. Laura Friedman is awesome. She is in the middle of her own campaign and yet has taken the time to help people like me, like George, like Dave, like Derek, all over California, because the path back to the majority does run through our state. And thanks to people like Laura, thanks to Hodge, thanks to all of you for showing up, we are going to flip these districts and make Hakeem Jeffries the next Speaker of the U.S. House. How's everybody feeling today? Good? Feeling fired up? Feeling ready to go? Yeah! Okay, I stole that from Barack Obama. Some of you may remember it, but there is a new slogan that's been making its rounds, right? And the new slogan is, when we fight, we win. And that is exactly what we are going to do when we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the next President and Vice President of the United States. And is it just me, or does Tim Walz have some serious Chris Farley energy? Right? That is an amazing top of the ticket that is authentic, that connects with everyday Americans, and the contrast could not be clearer. And I just want to take 2 minutes to not just say thank you to everybody for showing up, but to share with you my why. My name is Will Rollins. I'm the nominee in California's 41st. And I had a totally different career before I decided to get into politics. I worked in law enforcement. I was a federal prosecutor for 5 years. I specialized in counterterrorism and counterintelligence cases here in Southern California. And that was a job that I'd wanted to have since I was a kid. Walked into my first class of the day on 9/11, saw the North Tower collapse as a junior in high school, and started thinking about enlisting in the U.S. military. But this is when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was still in place. I was closeted, petrified of being outed, yet didn't want to give up on doing something in counterterrorism. So I went to college, I took Arabic, applied to the CIA. I sucked at Arabic and never heard back from the CIA. And that's where my story ends. So you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. No, I'm very, very persistent. I made it to law school. I was clerking for a judge. She said, if you like national security, you should apply to the U.S. Attorney's Office and become a federal prosecutor. So I applied, got hired, absolutely loved the job, got to work with the FBI protecting this country from threats from Russia, China, Iran, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. But I was hired in 2016, shortly before that presidential election. And what happened after that? Huge rise in the threats from domestic terrorism, right? Whether it was neo-Nazis attacking Charlottesville when we had a president who said there were very fine people on both sides, or QAnon conspiracy theorists attacking U.S. Navy hospital ships because they thought COVID was part of a government plot. And then January 6th happens. And I had the privilege of helping to prosecute some of the people who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. And I got into this race because of what my opponent, a guy named Ken Calvert, who currently represents California's 41st, was doing while those of us in law enforcement were responding to the attack. He was voting to decertify the election, voting against the January 6th committee, and then final straw for me, called for dropping charges. So the truth about the reason that I decided to run for Congress is that I just got pissed off. I thought he violated his oath of office, and I thought that the people who enabled the attack on the U.S. Capitol no longer deserved to work inside that building. And I also decided to do this for the same reason that a lot of you are here today, right? Which is the question that all of us are going to be asked years from now by the generations of Americans to come. Because everybody standing here inherits the sacrifices of the Americans who came before. Whether it was at the Battle of Yorktown, the Battle of Antietam, the beaches of Normandy, or Afghanistan. All of us have a responsibility to honor what we have inherited as Americans. Whether it's the civil rights battles at Selma, Seneca Falls, Stonewall. So that when we get asked years from now by our kids, grandkids, nieces and nephews, what did you do when the house was on fire? By being here today, your answer will be that you helped beat the longest serving election denier in the state of California. So thank you so much to Hodge. Thank you guys for showing up and caring about this country. Let's go out there, flip the house, make Hakeem Jeffries the next speaker. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
To find out more about the candidates, go to guides.vote. And to volunteer with Hangout Do Good, contact them with this QR code. And also Third Act SoCal, both great organizations to volunteer your time with to help with the election. Thanks.